Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we do have a very exciting war where I actually do have to take some fairly, well, at least one fairly dodgy fight that really did make me think a bit. And also I end up taking the boss fight, which wasn't planned, but we'll get to it when we get there. So I actually rank 3'd my Nebula for this war. That's a new rank 3 6 star that I do have, and I brought her in alongside Nimrod and alongside the Thing. And we're gonna start off in path 2 in section 1, and we're only actually gonna use Thing for this first fight. Perhaps there was actually better option to use, or I might not necessarily didn't need Thing, and I could have made some of my other fights easier, but either way, Thing is the absolute GOAT of Path 2, because obviously he's under constant protection, and we're going to see that once again in this fight. The base idea here is just ignore the strike counter node and let her build up as many furies as she wants. Now the Thing has also the added benefit of being immune to nullify, if that ever comes to matter. Let's say if I trigger my unstoppable at some point in the fight and all that other good stuff. But in general, it's just a fairly straightforward fight. Don't ideally let her get to level 3. If she does get to level 3, then just simply, you know, make sure that I have my protection on or throw it on myself with a heavy attack. Now there, it was an interesting moment when I was actually taking quite a lot of block damage, because she didn't hit quite strong enough initially. But now at this point, you know, every time she touches me in any sort of manner, protection is triggered. And she is a high ground defender, but, you know, protection also takes care of that, and that's a very straightforward. I did lose 15% health, which is like more than you normally do, but still, at no point that fight was scary or anything like that. Now we have Kitty Pryde, and obviously against Kitty Pryde we have Nimrod. I did definitely overboost here, and actually that kind of comes to bite me, because I ran out of tech boost. I ran out of 200% tech boosts at end of the war for the boss fight. But it's all good. Nimrod, to be honest, doesn't really benefit from those tech boosts all that much either way, because most of the damage on his level 2 comes from like energy damage and like damage over time effects, and he doesn't get back all that much power. But this fight is as simple as it goes. One level 2 and the job's over. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna show this fight again because it's so quick. The base idea is I pretty much ignore the node as well. I definitely don't keep too big of a track to my combos, and then just make sure that we absolutely annihilate her. I actually didn't trigger the eradicate protocol, but one level 2 was all that was needed. So very brief, very nice Nimrod domination. Now this next fight is Havoc, and I do have a couple of Odin pre-fights left on for me by a teammate of mine, which is going to help me out a bit. Because of that static defense, I will get a couple of shock debuffs placed on me, because obviously he has a node that gives him some armor ups, and because of that I will well, strike him, get shock placed on me, but now I'm like 90% shock resistant or 80% shock resistant or whatever the resistance Odin does, so I'm going to be taking a lot less damage. But other than that, obviously, again, it's Nimrod against a mutant character. I do need to be wary of masochism, but that's just about it. Also, the lesson that I learned last time I used Nimrod against Havoc was fairly simple. Make sure that your armor ups don't fall off completely, because if you don't parry in a really long time, it can happen so that your armor ups just fall off eventually. So this fight I know better, and I'm kind of much more focused on keeping an eye on my armor ups. And Havoc does have obviously very high energy resistance, but even with that and even with the masochism healing, it's only 2 level 2s and job is done. Now we can move on to section 2, and this is the fight that I want to talk about, because this fight is what I ranked up Nebula for. So it's Mojo, and I don't remember, no, I don't check the nodes, but here he has Hazard Shift, Shock and Bleed. So obviously Nebula is perfect for this fight. And he also has the one-eyed open node. So I can't do any damage to him while he is stunned, or it is going to get reflected back to me. Now, with many champions, it's something you can kind of play around and just, you know, don't hit them after parries and stuff like that. But with Nebula, it just means that you'd kill yourself pretty much. Right, so the original game plan was to go in here and get myself up to a level 3 and perhaps disable dexterity. And then, you know, use the level 3 and then level 1 to power control and take control of the fight. Now, we kind of had a bit of a brainstorm session before we actually took that fight. And I did a couple of duels just to test the theory that Nebula still transfers shocks on a well-timed block, even if parry mastery is not active. So this fight I do with 0 points in my defensive mastery setup. I have no dexterity, I have no parry, and nothing else obviously there as well. So that is why this fight's a bit wonky and dodgy. And this is pretty much my first fight with the rank 3 Nebula, because I had her at rank 2, so I kind of knew what she's doing. But the point is, it's an interesting fight. Right, so the goal is to use the hazard shift to build up my charges. Unfortunately, there I mess an intercept, so I do get clipped a bit, but it's not the biggest deal. There I do place 16 shocks on him immediately because I figured I'm going to have plenty of time to rebuild up some charges later when I am actually ready to throw that level 2. This is where he makes the fight a lot trickier than it ought to have been. He just refuses to throw his level 1 for a really long time, and that's kind of annoying. So now finally he does throw it, and I can try and get a few charges in. I got 13 charges, and I get to build up a few more as I block, and now we're pretty much ready to go. So now only thing I have to do is parry and connect my level 2, and that is one dead mojo. So not a perfect fight. He did annoy me a bit by not throwing that level 1 for quite a while, and thus I couldn't get up to full 20 charges with hazard shift node. But it all worked out quite well, and man, this was one of those feel-good moments when you kind of go off the script. You rank a brand new champion for a matchup that you have never done, and it just worked out. It worked out wonderfully. So I was super happy with this fight. Next fight, it's once again Nimrod against Bishop here, and Bishop is fairly annoying chap to deal with using Nimrod. It's kind of like one of the worst matchups, arguably. I could have tried Nebula as well, to be honest. Maybe Nebula would have been better, because I could get to 20 charges very quickly, and then, you know, it'd probably drop fairly quickly. But we're going in with Nimrod, because I have done this fight before on this same exact place. The base idea is just kind of, you know, stall a bit whilst there is the shock phase. I could have attacked thanks to Odin's pre-fight, but I just wanted to be as safe as I can. Now at this point, we just need to get rid of his... Well, I'm just going to build up to level 2. I could have thrown level 1, probably would have made things a bit easier for me. But I'm just going to build up to level 2. So we are there right now. He's using his level 2. Obviously, he hardly has any promise, and he's getting power drained. Then I'm dropping my level 2, which takes about half of his health away. I get back a bit of power. This is exactly what I mean when I say, you know, Nimrod doesn't really benefit all that much from tech boost. And here I did end up going for my level 1. Maybe that was a mistake. But I did want to get that energy vulnerability, increased power gain, and obviously I do want to kind of wither that shock phase. But, you know, I have taken 50% of my health from like Bishop secondary damage sources, but with another level 2, the fight is over. So Bishop is like arguably the hardest matchup for Nimrod in the mutant class. And now the final fight. Again, initially I wasn't even meant to take this boss, which is Wolverine Weapon X, but I had done Wolverine Weapon X with Nimrod previously, and all of those fights went really well. And I didn't have my 200% tech boost anymore. I still had like 150% tech boost, and I'm using like medium set of boosts, so I haven't boosted to the gills. And the reason for it is, and why we actually did try out Nimrod in the first place in this fight, is because at this point we had pretty much sealed the deal. We had like 2 fights left, and we had, I think, 7 KO lead at this point. Because we played very well this war. This was arguably the best war for us as an alliance, and we only died like twice, and opponents died like 10 times. So at this point, yeah, we could just check out what's going to happen. And I don't play this well. I do make a few mistakes here and there. I was in a bit of a rush because I was just getting back from doing some shopping for tomorrow. And, you know, with that, I definitely could have played this a bit better, but this is just going to be another proof of how well Nimrod deals with mutant champions in general. You can see that his health is absolutely melting. I am just trying to bait out his heavy attacks, but there I actually got caught and I ate up some of my indestructibility. But now his berserk phase is on cooldown, so I have fairly free reign to do whatever I want. I'm going to go in for another level 2, which is going to take him from 50% health to, what, 30% health. And I will make a minor mistake at some point in this fight with his charges. So now the cooldown's over and he's starting to get his charges back up, and he uses a special attack. And here you can see that I got him 24 charges, but I need him to be at 25 charges, so I need to find an opening. And I know that I can only hit him 1 time before he goes unstoppable and unblockable. And with this dancing, I think he's gonna catch me at some point. Yeah, here on a dashback. He did caught me, but obviously Nimrod is still Nimrod, and it's all good. And the only thing I needed to do is drop another level 2, and that's pretty much taken care of him. He has like last 4%. So I definitely did not play this as best as I could. I got hit with that final combo definitely unnecessarily, but still very solid win. Fairly quick as well, only 1 minute 47 seconds for a boss fight. So it's a very also time efficient way how to take down this boss, and I'm sure that if I'm going to do this fight next time, I can do it cleaner and nicer. But I must say that I absolutely love the fact that Nimrod is one of my recent rank ups. He's definitely my favorite rank up that I have done in many months, and he's been just absolutely destroying things for me. And yeah, I think he's really amazing tech champion. At this point in time, I think he's easily top 5 tech. I think he, you know, is right there with Warlock, Ultron, Ghost, and Guilty in 2099 in that top 5. I think he just absolutely does his job, which is largely eradicating mutants, but also, you know, dealing with prowess and region nodes and stuff like that. And yeah, he's been an absolute MVP for me this entire season. So yes, we did end up winning this war, but again, I don't think it largely matters. We're still going to finish somewhere in Masters. And we have only 1 war left in the season. And we're going to see how that goes. But meanwhile, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That interesting Nebula fight, the boss solo, all that other stuff. Drop a comment, let me know what you think, and I'm going to catch you guys soon. See ya!
Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about